God damn me, Dr. Alex. Hello, everybody. We are here and we're going to be talking about Strange New Worlds. Not fucking Christ!
No, we're not. No, we're not.
This is not what I signed up for.
I know nothing.
If that's what you're talking about, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Same.
Bye.
Really going to muck up the ordering of his pictures now.
We're going to be talking about the Orville Strange New World. Fucking Christ! The Orville Season 3, Episode 1.
There we go. That makes
Fuck my life.
New Horizons.
New Horizons.
There we go.
You.
Thank
Take
you.
Orville, New Horizons.
35.
Episode 1. I promise I can do this.
Try not to choke on my liquor over here. Fuck.
Hey there, Boosh. Good to see you. Hey, Pacific. Give me 1 second.
So, are we actually live now?
Yes, we're actually
Yes, we're live now.
Yes, Dr. Alice, we're live.
So
Okay,
we
so
wasted an
what-
hour of fantastic discussion, and I'll never and repeated it, and we'll never be able to bring that hour back again for the
I
live
know.
audience.
So, what did you all think of New Horizons? I'll start off with Brainy Specs. What did you think?
I thought it was fabulous. It felt like the Orville right from the start till the last frame. And I don't want to go into what I just said on Discord. You saw that, Revan, but I will later on. But just say that this blows away Star Trek right now.
Yeah,
But I'll get to my point later.
Like the graphics on this, like these are like from the opening shots, and as you can already see, like the graphics.
Now, I will say, also in its defense, the stills don't do this no justice. It looks much better in motion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I can't show it in motion.
Of course not. No.
The overlords don't like that. All hail Watson.
I recently bought a. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just like
I
we're
recently-
get.
Oh my god.
Oh, that Phil, you were saying?
Mine was just a terrible joke. Go
fuck
ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I recently bought a 4K TV, and I got to tell you, the color on this with the graphics were phenomenal. I couldn't believe
I have
how
no doubt.
good it looked,
Yeah, that's
and it
where
wasn't
I
a 4K picture. I
No,
thought it was a 4K HDR image, and it wasn't. It was just HD, and it was phenomenal. I couldn't believe it. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Go, Revan. Go.
But yeah, I watched it on 4K myself. The sound quality is better, the graphics are better, and like just the little noises and everything like that. And the fact that it started like this episode tackled a very hard like subject. To tackle, but like it opened up with a like R.I.P. to Norm Macdonald, who passed. Who we sadly lost.
Yeah,
it does set the tone for the whole thing, but then of course it's entirely appropriate.
It does.
Although still don't spoil the end of it. I haven't only seen the first half because of this timing issue.
So. Oh, hold on. We have a private chat. Give me 1 sec now. Yeah. So the episode basically we're introduced with this her.
With this her.
That's a
Very fitting still.
Oh,
image.
that's a nice image of her.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't hate her.
No, I don't think we're meant to. I think this episode she's just.
I don't
angry.
hate her either.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just.
I don't hate her, but I don't like her.
Beyond the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's very pretty. But no, I mean, as a character, I don't hate her because I fully understand like where people are coming from with this.
Yes.
It's a very awkward situation.
So
Absolutely.
basically, this episode is all taking place in Space Dock. I would have called this episode a night in Space Dock, honestly, if you were asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amber Heard. No.
No,
No, this one's way more honest.
Yeah. Hey, Bubba. Yeah, she is like 10,000 times more honest than that cunt.
Oh yeah.
But so as the episode goes on, we're seeing more new stuff. Like we've seen like better views of like the heavy cruisers. Like here's one of the shots of a heavy cruiser.
Mhm.
Like and everything.
That was from an earlier episode, though.
It was, but I mean, I couldn't get the shot from this episode. But it was just on a heavy cruiser. But it opens up with a flashback. Now, this I believe goes
a nightmare. It wasn't a flashback.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It was a nightmare.
It opens up with a nightmare, but it was also in a way for the fans to go, "Hey, previously on the Orville," and
not really.
Well,
because the whole thing is from the perspective.
I think the whole
of,
opening is
Marcus.
actually the nightmare, isn't it? The
it
whole
was,
opening.
but
Yeah.
Dr. Alex, you're saying?
Well, I mean, without mentioning names until somebody else does, the fundamental misunderstanding about this episode that we were discussing before were multiple. I mean, one, this episode does take place immediately after the end of season 2, or there's a very short gap, if anything. The fact that some of the actors look a bit older, namely the children, does not mean that there's any actual narrative time that's passed, just because their actors now look older.
Yeah.
It's immediately, it's obviously immediately after the previous season. So that, I can't remember what I was going to say now because we've been going so long. I'm so tired now. But it was it all made sense. Go on.
Because there's a line in it when they're replacing the deflector array, and they go to this little square, and they're like, "Sir, why are we taking this out? It was only put in last year during the Mocklin upgrades, which was in halfway through season 2."
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, "Well, compared to these new ones, that's a lawnmower."
Well, actually, what he said is these were new upgrades from the Mocklins, and he looks at me. He's like, "A year ago."
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's only been a year since halfway of season 2, so it's only been a few months since.
Months, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is pretty obvious. I mean, and then everything makes perfect sense. No, I know the kids look older because children actors grow up faster than the adult ones. So, but no time's actually occurred in narrative, and that should have been pretty bloody obvious.
Yeah. And speaking about like brand new things, I love this.
Oh yeah, the fighter. That's pretty sharp.
Yeah.
This thing's awesome.
Looking forward to when Eaglemoth does this.
Oh yeah, I'll actually ask Orville
awesome.
Nation about that. Does anyone
Oh
remember?
yeah, he's in the chat. Hey Orville Nation, let us
Mhm.
know if there's anything new. If you've heard anything about new Eaglemoth ships of the Orville, please. I am dying to know this.
Yes, Orville, let me know. Hit me up when you hear about that. But does anyone know that ship's bloody name? It's been like they gave it's like a pterodon.
They named it
like
2 or 3 times, and I'm having trouble remembering.
Is it Pterodart?
I think it's called the Troubadour.
So something like that. It's pterodon, troubadour. It's some weird PTH
I think
sound.
it's closer to pterodon.
Yeah.
Just a second.
But in the nightmare at the beginning, because of the
I'm
Kanon
looking
attack,
this up.
this is the face that we see.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So-
Okay. Yeah. That's clearly from a nightmare because
Yeah.
because it has
And
freaking teeth, biological teeth.
I pointed out this whole opening thing up until Isaac, turning into that demon monster at the end of the nightmare. That whole opening thing was a preview of the show that we got a few weeks ago. And I was like, as soon as that ended, I'm like, okay, this is definitely a nightmare someone's having. And I think it's probably Marcus. And lo and behold, I was like,
Yeah. Oh, and now you've reminded me of the other thing that somebody said that was clearly wrong, which was, oh God, it's gone out of my head again. You've left me go too long being tired. It'll come back again in a second.
Yeah, but Like they added in a few new races, but they also had in that the entirety of the crew hated Isaac. Like
with some
not the
exceptions.
entirety.
What?
Not the entirety of the
With
crew,
some-
but a large chunk.
A
Yeah.
good chunk of them, yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense, particularly
not
if some of them
the
being
whole-
recently transferred from other ships that were in the middle of the battle and all that sort of stuff. It all
not
still
the-
makes sense.
Yeah, not the entire crew. Most of
but-
a big chunk of it, but not all.
And I pointed this out while we were watching it. It gave me strong feels for in the UK and America, two countries which don't exist, by the way. That after World War II, when the Germans, like German American soldiers, were returning home, even if they had German names or they grew up in Germany but fought for America and they returned home, this is the treatment that they got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Ugh. The shots, I absolutely love the new engine. Guys, they were using a condensed star for an engine. Did you notice that?
I may not have got that far. Maybe
I don't think it was a condensed star.
Well, it looked like it anyway.
I kind of
I
got
don't
the
think it
idea it
looked
was
like
some
it.
sort of fusion energy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
And we got this new room where Isaac lives. Astrometrics for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what they called it, I think.
That's what they called it. The
Yep.
an astrometrics lab.
Yeah. That's from later on, but Dr. Alex doesn't want any spoilers, so
Yeah,
I'll
so we're
just-
trying not to do that.
Yeah, so I'll just
Wait a minute. Wait a
Yeah.
second. Dr. Alex not seen it yet.
I've seen
Dr.
half.
Alex
You
Yet.
saw
is only
half of
halfway
it.
through.
What the hell are you doing here? You're not
It's
finished all of
Potato's
it.
fault. It's all Potato's fault.
He's
If
here
I
for
knew we were going to be an
emotional support.
hour sitting there doing nothing, I could have finished the episode twice. Before,
So just this is the scene where we
and still been
what do you
awake
think
when
of
we come
Isaac's
online.
redesign?
What
Say
was
that
that,
again?
Ruben?
What do you think of Isaac's redesign?
Honestly, I didn't notice.
Yeah, it's subtle.
Yeah, it really
It's very
it's very subtle. It's hard
It
to
is
notice.
like
What do you mean?
like they
redesign?
changed
He
the
looked
arm pads.
he looked the same to me.
There's
Yeah.
very slight variation. I'm looking at two different images of him in another window, but it's really something you have to be looking for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hold on. I'm going to just pull him up here, okay?
Okay.
Give me one damn it. Script. I'm just going to show my tab because I'm so professional. Share screen, tab, this one. Boom. There he is. That's him in the first. That's Isaac. Yeah. Like, it's very subtle. Like, it. No, that's from the comic. It looks like they changed his stuff from, like, being foam armor to being real armor. I mean, there he is with the banana in season 1 compared
Okay,
to how he is now in season 3. Bib.
It's not
Yeah,
that
it's-
drastic of a change.
It's not a drastic change, but it's definitely, like I said, if you're looking for it, it's noticeable because there's less mesh looking areas and more like solid bits of armor.
Yeah, but I mean, this scene right here is where we're first seeing that the crew like hates Isaac because Katie, is that her name?
It's Burke.
Yeah, so Burke
Charlie.
is talking to
Charlie.
Burke.
Charlie.
Charlie. That's it.
Yeah.
I was saying that they should have added in for just a bit of a wink and a nod that her best friend should have been Hare, Burke and Hare.
No.
Well,
Nope.
Yeah.
No. I just got it. No.
Yeah, so
It kind of would have fit the theme of the Orville, you know, being comedic, but
yeah, kind of.
Jeez.
Hold on now. Bush says because he's a murdering psycho, maybe. Well, no, he's not. He did not kill anyone, so he's not a murderer. So
In fact, the
There.
only reason that the Orville was able to participate in the battle at all was because of what he did, activating the EMP
Yeah, well, he
Yes.
basically
annihilate
turned,
the
he
Kalon
turned
on
on the
board.
rest of the Kalon. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Before the
absolutely
battle
turned-
even began.
Yeah, but I think that
Which I'm almost shocked that none of the characters brought up that.
But all the characters who we did actually see, like, hated Isaac were not the main cast. Who
Yeah.
showed, like, disregard to, like, basically screw you, Isaac. It wasn't the main cast.
Well-
it was mainly Burke.
Gordon did say that he agreed with.
Yeah, I was
her.
about to say.
Oh, yeah.
I can't find the name of the fucking shuttle.
I can't
I
either.
can't-
I'm
I can't
trying.
find
I
it
can't
either.
find it.
I'll have to go back to the episode and watch.
Yeah, I've got the pterodon stuck in my head for some reason. But yeah,
that sounds close to right, if not right.
Yeah. But there were the ones who we did see, like the crew where we don't know are these like brand new crew members, because like a lot of crew members did end up getting killed or sucked out through holes in the attack. So they all left, but a lot of the crew, even Isaac's friends, weren't even talking to him. But the ones who were just outright hostile to him were not. Let's just say, apart from Gordon's statement, weren't the main cast.
No, exactly. It all makes perfect sense in the short time that's clearly elapsed since the Kalon incident in the first place, because there hasn't been a massive amount of time in story that's gone on.
Yeah. I mean, given like all the refits, I'm looking forward to seeing where this show's going. Honestly.
Yeah. Introducing. I've got it. Something else that said that this story would leave people adrift who are coming in cold. This is another criticism that someone who should remain nameless leveled, that this would be a terrible opening episode for people coming into the story cold. No, that's why this episode was written the way it was. It was to introduce the characters in a real story setting, but so you could see what Gordon's like, you see what the captain's like, see what Kelly's like, you see what they're all like.
And
like,
honestly, I feel
that's
like
why
they
it's so
give,
slow.
I feel like they give enough background on what happened that you would know what to go back and look for.
Yeah,
if you wanted to.
It was
I'm
laboring
going to go back to what I was saying earlier. The nightmare, although narratively it is a nightmare, if you remove the end of it, pretty much it is a previously on Orville type of moment.
I suppose
so it's multiple.
I don't necessarily believe that.
Well, it's very similar to what happened.
Yeah.
So you could honestly take it. You could honestly take it as a very brief kind of showing of some of what went on up to the last part with Isaac.
Yeah, so to summarize, I think it was a really intelligent way to give you backstory, give you character introductions without doing an on-the-nose, here is our new character, here's our old character, here's what they're like. It was really well written, cleverly done. So he who shall remain nameless was completely missing so many points on this one.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree.
But given all the characters and like the new stuff, Phil brought up a very good moment that I thought was absolutely hilarious as well. Yaphet in a spacesuit.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Yep. The fact that they walk his face, he's pushed his face to fill in the whole faceplate of the suit. And then when they come in, the suit just falls over and he's kind of blurps out and leaves the suit on the floor.
That was really good.
That was awesome.
That was great.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, without giving the spoilers, because we'll keep the big moment, right, a secret for people who haven't watched it yet, because it is basically the first week of. So apart from the big moment when we're looking on the outside, you see Yaphet in the spacesuit again, right, for click. And what makes me laugh is he's moving his arms like a human, but his hands aren't working properly. Like he moves his entire arms with his hands open and his hands just drift back a bit. Like his gel isn't filling up the fingers enough. Oh. Yeah. But I'm just trying not to talk about this without like a load of spoilers. Is there anything you would have changed about the episode yourselves?
I would have brought up the fact that Isaac I would have brought up what I said earlier about what Isaac did to the Kalon on the ship before the battle even commenced.
Yeah.
That is one thing I'll
Absolutely.
say. It's very odd, especially considering Claire, that nobody specifically brings that up when they're trying to defend him.
Exactly.
It's like that they forgot that. But the thing is, how many
I would
people
be surprised
actually?
if they did, honestly.
Yeah, like they probably did, but they should have shown it on the screen. That they did, that they brought it up, because that would have been a good thing. It's like, oh yeah, but he was there too little, too late. He sacrificed himself.
Maybe that's something they'll do in future episodes. Because we have this new character of Charlie. She wasn't on the ship at the time. Maybe she doesn't realize what really happened there, and it'll come out and maybe change her.
Yeah, maybe somebody else will bring up what he really did, since her only perspective is being on one of the ships that the Kalon destroyed. Her only perspective is all her friends dying, seeing her best friend sacrifice herself to make sure she got out. Beyond that, everything she hears, she doesn't know if that really happened.
No.
Right.
But would there still be security tape from the EM pulse, or would that be erased?
I don't honestly know.
That's a good question.
It's not really illustrated if those are like EMP shielded.
Yeah, but I know that it hurt the Kalon, because when they
I think that if it did, we would have seen like damage to other systems, or other systems being offline before the battle, but after the EMP was released.
Yeah.
Because
we didn't see any of that.
Internally.
Exactly. That's my point.
One of the things that I would have liked to see the ship to see more of is when they were fighting the Kalon ship later on. Well, more running from it. We keep hearing it's like, oh, we saw the whole episode was about the upgrades, right? Like this, oh, we got this upgraded, and they ran away.
That was like
go ahead.
The upgrades were really only the first half of the episode. The rest of it was taking place while the ship was flying under its own power. Not that that means much.
I think there's a reason for that, and I don't want to go into it because some people may not have seen that part. So I don't want to give away any spoilers. So
yeah,
I think there is a good reason for why they ran.
Okay.
I just don't want to spoil it. I just don't want to spoil it.
I think I know what you're getting at, and I kind of agree that maybe they just didn't want to risk that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially with all the tension on the ship already.
I know. Yeah, I know what you're on about. That device. That was that they were. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Dr. Alex.
No, that's all right. Surely it's still a medium-sized ship as well. And if they come across a full-size Kalon ship, they might still run away, even with the upgrades.
Yeah. Was it only the weapons?
That is true.
Was it only the engines, or did the weapons get the same as a heavy cruiser?
I'm not sure if they could have I don't think they could have actually mounted heavy cruiser weapons on it.
Hey, Far.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
What?
Your blinds?
He's fine. He's not hurting them right now. As long as he doesn't tear them up, he's fine.
Yeah. But yes, like the heavy cruisers. I keep hearing the heavy cruisers. I want to see them more now. Honestly. Also, Eagle Moss, make a giant XL like heavy cruiser that I can carry around with me, please.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually. Eagle Moss, I imagine, would make money out of this, unlike any of the CBS Trek stuff who nobody wants to buy.
Yeah, there's a.
Okay, so I have a story about that. So, Alex and Dalek are familiar with this store, right? I went up to Dublin.
I am too. Actually, we've talked about it.
Yeah, to Forbidden Planet.
Same.
Right?
Oh yeah, Forbidden Planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one
and
in there's one I've been to a few times in Liverpool. Near where
I've actually ordered some stuff from there internationally.
Yeah. But they have all the Star Trek stuff, and it's like the Kirk dolls, the Picard dolls, all in this one section, right? They've got like TNG badges and everything. Looks cool. On the opposite side, they've got all the CBS stuff, and all you just see is just a wall of Rainbow Pride, and
Oh my god!
yeah, and in the comic book store in town, I told this to Phil and he loves this. There's this guy who hates Discovery so much that he got this model kit for Discovery and he hid it behind the stuff. And I actually sent Phil a picture of it when I found it again. How many months later and it was still there, Phil?
I don't even fucking remember.
It was a while, as I recall.
Yeah, and it was the same ship was still there. Like
this stuff doesn't sell. Nobody's really watching it anymore, other than the handful of shills that try to spread around good word. It's the same thing with the Kevin Smith He-Man thing. Story. There's rows of Kevin Smith He-Man stuff still on the shelves around here. Nobody's buying it.
Oh, Phil,
and I've got a pretty funny story in the same vein as Revan. So being American, obviously, I am very familiar with Walmart.
Oh God.
Yes.
So
yes.
I was just there. 2 hours ago.
So a few. So this is.
Hey, I needed milk. Come on.
Just
so a few years ago, this like.
Hold up, wait. Dalek wanted to ask something, Phil.
Can I just check something here? There's 6 of us here. I'm guessing are there have we got 3 Americans and 3 Brits?
Yes.
Basically,
no, 2. We've got 3 Americans.
Sorry, Raven. That's right. You're Irish.
He's Irish.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I'm Gallifreyan, but okay.
Yeah.
We'll leave it right there.
Turtle, but like he's a science experiment, but we don't bring that up.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway,
go ahead.
So there's like from 2018 to 2019 roughly, so about a year and some change.
Yeah.
I would go to Walmart pretty frequently, and they were selling the DVDs for STD season 1. And they had 3 copies of the season that never went anywhere for over a year and a half.
Yes.
Just every time I walked in, I would make it a point to check the rack where all that stuff is and see, yep, it's the same 3 seasons. It's the same 3 box sets.
We had a Best Buy. We'll still have a Best Buy. But their DVD section, there was this one section that was always static, and it was nothing but it was like Captain Marvel and like Discovery. And they never moved.
Yeah, it's been it's like with the Discovery that they would make so much money out of the Orville merch. Like at cons, like I've seen loads of people. There's a load of people at Dublin Comic Con went as Orville crew members. Like they would make so much stuff. I don't know why they're not selling the merch.
No.
I mean, I would sell Dr. Alex in a heartbeat for some good Orville merch.
Yeah, let's see if I still got it.
Wow.
Did I hear you right? You would sell Dr. Alex?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't have the ownership rights.
He's
Dr. Alex.
Yeah. Ooh, what's it going to get?
First off, I want to know how you would own Dr. Alex so you could sell Dr. Alex.
It's called a sack.
He's going to get a shotgun.
No, that's not what that's called. That's called.
I put him into a sack, and therefore I own him. It's called surprise adoption.
That's not ownership.
That's not how that works.
That's called abduction.
Abduction, surprise adoption, tomato.
Okay.
That's not how that works, you weirdo.
Yes.
That's why we love you, Revan.
Yay!
Speak for yourself.
Well,
I love you, okay?
Yay! Well,
there's no
okay, so while he's not here, like this episode.
Not that far away.
Oh crap!
He can still hear you.
He can hear us.
I was going to talk spoilers because, like, just to get
Future
into
speakers, Dr.
Darn it.
Alex.
Dr.
I'm still
Alex,
here.
like, just
He's
to get into like the meat of the episode, we are going to have to talk spoilers.
Do you want to mute your speakers or mic or something?
Well, I was going to finish. Just say one more thing. I did have a piece of Orville merch. I had a pin. It was on my my Doctor Who coat of the Orville, but it wasn't made by anyone official. Somebody was making this stuff on the sly on the side, which I got off eBay. So like, there's no official good merch out there.
Ruby's on Amazon is doing Orville uniforms for $158.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad
Phil,
price.
do you want me to send you the link?
Sure, I guess.
Which color?
Command.
Of course. I'll link you as well. But we're going to get into spoilers. Doctor, do you want to stay or do you want to go?
I'll duck out, and plus it means I can go to sleep.
You had
yeah, I think you're tired. You mentioned you were tired anyway.
I was tired a while ago, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been great.
Dream of electric sheep.
Yes.
Hey,
yes, indeed. That's only, what, 2:30 for you, Dr. Alex?
Yeah.
Only 2:30 a.m.
Yeah, same. Yes.
Okay.
Week.
So, now that we can get into the spoilers section. Okay, the topic of this episode.
Spoilers.
The topic of this episode was basically like suicide, hatred, and everything after like season 3. Like, I don't think he should have done that to himself. Like Isaac.
Well, the way that Isaac, and because I remember near the end where he's trying. He and Claire are attempting to have a conversation about what he did.
Yes.
And he doesn't because he's a Kaelon. No matter how much he's been exposed to humans and how they work and think, he's still a Kaelon.
Mm-hmm.
So to him, this was purely logic. It'd be like trying to explain emotions to a Vulcan. It's just, it doesn't work. They don't get it. They can
more accurately trying to explain emotions to someone like Data.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, that's closer because Vulcans actually do have emotions. They just suppress them.
They suppress them. But I still feel like talking about them to them is not the easiest thing because they suppress them so deliberately. But it's like nothing he did in his mind was wrong except for the fact that he's alive again.
Yeah. I think, like, I'm thinking he is honestly starting to develop emotions. They're rudimentary right now. Like, very. But after Ty, was it Ty? Yeah, Ty. After Ty said, I want you dead to him.
That was Marcus.
That was Marcus.
Sorry,
Ty's the younger
Marcus,
brother.
Yeah.
Ty's the younger one.
That is when we get this scene.
Yeah, that scene.
This scene is when he is actually recording. He's like, send up. Like, it's like, the ship needs this, and my best regards to the Finn family. And then he goes, wham. And they said that basically what he did was he drove a nail right through his brain.
Yeah, he basically sent an EMP pulse through a pinhole into his brain, into his cortex, effectively, for what they have as a cortex.
I think that really speaks for what Isaac, not who he is, but what he is. The whole that give my regards to the Finn family. That was the bottom of his list of priorities.
It was, but
was it? Maybe it was the most important.
It may have been. I feel like it was saved for last. The one last thing he said to maybe make sure that they would get it. To make sure that
like if you ever watch movies where like characters are going to like go out heroically, but they're leaving a voice message, or else they're going to away. It's like, and tell my wife, or tell my love, or to you, my dearest friend.
Yeah.
It's always the last one.
It's the literal last words.
It's the most important one. It's like,
okay, maybe I got that wrong.
Yeah. But what I thought honestly was a bit sad was he had ended his own life. And this is when we get in, because this is when I said to you guys, whoever wrote this lost someone and was mad.
I don't know, because I know what you're talking about, because I remember when you said it. But you got to remember when it cuts from that to everyone else doing their things normally.
Yeah.
Well, nobody even knew what he did yet. Because remember, right after that, security calls up and they're like, "We have a problem." They had just found his body.
Yeah, but it also goes. But at the same time, I know what you mean. But at the same time, it does show like when people do that, the world just keeps on turning. People go to work. People have everything like that, and
but
at the end of the day,
that is, I feel like that's more just of kind of a statement on the world in general, not necessarily having anything to do with someone being angry or having lost someone. It's more just to anybody who doesn't know you, that's just kind of how it is.
At his eulogy, like when all the people who still liked him were there, did he notice who was missing?
I probably did, but I don't remember.
Yali was missing.
Who was?
Gordon was missing. Kelly was missing.
Which I'm not sure why, unless they knew they do need minimal crew on the bridge. That might have been why.
Wait a second. Why would
but
Kelly?
I don't see why Kelly would not have been there.
I don't either.
Wait,
no, I don't either.
The reason why Kelly would not have been there is because she's the highest ranking officer on the ship, so she may have held.
So she may have had to hold the command chair in the captain's absence. That's possible. Although if that was the case, then I don't know why Bortus wouldn't have been there.
I think Bortus is a soldier, like outright.
Yeah,
and I think Bortus is pretty much Orville Vulcan, right?
Yeah, he's pretty close.
Yeah, Orville
There's
Vulcan.
also Klingon in that.
Yeah, it's like a weird blend.
But given that how he feels and being a soldier, that betrayal, I don't think he would have forgiven Isaac for it. No matter that he tried to save him, he still betrayed the uniform.
I don't. Under the circumstances, I'm not honestly sure.
Or else he was beating Clyden, which I think that would have been an acceptable reason for him to not.
We didn't see much of Bortus at all this episode.
So no, not really.
No, Bortus was barely in this at all.
Now, I know I keep bringing this up, but the funny thing about this scene, right? Apart from it being like, yes, is he gave him. I didn't get the picture, right? But it turns out that when Gordon was explaining presents to him, but didn't like tell him what like that needs to be personal. He gave him a fork.
The fork,
and he kept it. And he was looking at it like, oh, like this is like, Jesus, this is the fork that he gave me, and it's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he got the idea that like, oh hey, the old computer people, they put like codes in. Maybe he's hiding, and he was still like hiding away in the back reaches of his mind and everything like that.
Is when he had the idea that the Kaylon might have had a backup of sorts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which does make sense.
It
is, but the thing is, if that's the redundancy, and the redundancy is now gone, that means that Isaac,
if something goes wrong again, then there's probably no way to save him.
Yeah. Which is like, okay, it's a real slap for Isaac, a bit of reality for him. It's like, you can't do this again.
Yeah.
There's no going back. Although they did bring him back. Like, which, when everyone was going around, like, Claire was holding it together, and she was like, what if they reactivate him and they still love him? But when he was gone, and they're like, he might be a shell, that's when we went to this scene. And for those of you who forget, because I know it has been a few years, this scene is where they took place on their first date. Also, I really like Claire's hair in this episode. That weird green thing that was tied into her hair is gone.
It didn't bother me that much, but it looks nice.
No. Yeah, but I prefer it in this one.
You know, much has been said about how the characters, especially the kids, look older. I think the one that looks the oldest or more old is Claire.
Claire.
Yeah.
She really does. It really does look like she aged a bit.
If you ask me, the only character that really,
and I'm wondering if it's because of the hair. Honestly,
it's the hair.
Yeah,
it's possible.
Could be.
But you're saying, Dalek?
If you ask me, the only character in this that really looked and sounded older was Marcus. Because he was taller, his voice was deeper. Because he's obviously now a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I think that was what threw some people off with how much time had passed. Honestly,
Marcus is going through puberty as well, so like,
exactly.
But yeah,
well, season 2 they filmed that when
20. So season 2 was released in 2018.
Okay,
so that would have been filmed 2017.
Right, and I think they filmed they probably filmed this episode maybe in 2020 or late 2019.
They started.
Well, I know they started and then they had to stop because of COVID. They stopped in the middle of filming.
They started filming in like 2021 or 2020.
Was it?
They started in
so
like
this would have been 2020.
Yeah. So a couple years. Even if this had come out on time, he would have still looked older. That older.
If this is 2020,
like
I wonder.
Yep.
I wonder just for like the ages of the kids and the kid who plays Topa, are they going to say, for talk's sake, like 2 years later, halfway through?
I don't think so.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
You think they're just going to ignore it?
I think they're just going to roll with it, honestly.
Again,
well, they already gave a time frame.
That's kind of just a reality of life, and it's not that unrealistic.
Yeah, especially not for kids. Kids have a tendency to just kind of age suddenly.
Yeah. Like I saw a cousin of mine recently, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're tall. Like, where the hell did you get? And like, I'd only seen her like 2 months beforehand, and she was shorter, and I'm like, stop growing. But yeah, like they do like shoot up out of nowhere, so you could just put it down to they're. Plus, it's the future as well. At the same time,
I don't think the future would have much to do with it.
I mean, not with humans anyway. Maybe with other species.
Yeah.
I mean, with Topa, it makes sense between him being a baby in season 1 and being like 6-7 years old in season 2.
I'd say about 9.
Maybe about somewhere around there, like approaching 10, because we don't know the Mocklin. We don't know the Mocklin life cycle. We don't know how long childhood is. So that makes sense.
Yes,
that's a good point because how fast what was their daughter called again?
Topa.
Look how fast she grew. She was born at the beginning of season 1, and then season 2 she really shut up.
No, Halston Sage is not back, Boosh. She's not coming back, unfortunately.
Actually, no. Cameo. She may make it. She did state that she may make a cameo. But
cameo, yeah, but you know what I mean, like back to the crew. That's not happening.
Yeah,
well,
as far as
we're aware, same. But although I like Tala,
so Tala's all right now,
left, and she got put onto this like program as the lead on it. I forget its name, right? Where her dad was the psychopath. Martin Sheen was her father in it. And it recently got cancelled. What?
Never mind.
And it recently got cancelled. And when it got cancelled, she turned around and said, I'd be willing to come back and talk onto the Orville. And I'm like, I bet you would. But she left on good terms. I mean, I follow her Instagram. And there the other day, she was on vacation with Kelly and Kiali. So, like,
I never thought anything went poorly between them. I just think at this venue, that's just not going to happen. It's too inconvenient to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think anything went south because she was in the end of season 2.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But I think that from next week, we're going to start getting back into proper Orville as we know it. Like, adventure. Because we know from the trailer that they are going to the opposite side of Krill space.
Yes, Boosh, that's correct. Her father was played by Robert Picardo.
Yeah, we're talking about the actress who played Alara, right?
Yes, that's Houston.
Yes.
Oh, I was so sad when she left.
So was I. She was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, but she did get a big acting opportunity. But the thing about her career-wise, her career is looking up because she does have that lead in a big show, although it was cancelled. She did get 3 seasons out of it as the lead, and then she spent 2 seasons on the Orville. Well, a season and change.
A season and a half. Yeah, a season and change.
Yeah.
A season and 2 episodes.
Yeah. For some reason, they did credit her. I don't know. I think it may have been for insurance reason that they did credit her for the entirety of season 2. Like, they do that for insurance reasons. I know that. Like, where it's like Phil leaves and he'd still be listed as a lieutenant, whatever. But yeah.
Gee, thanks for singling me out.
We miss him. Wonder what happened to him.
Oh,
but yeah, but like it.
I'm planning your funeral.
Well, you'd be the one to do it, wouldn't you?
Are they going to be balloons?
Exactly.
Phil, are they going to be balloons and custard?
Oh, jeez.
I have to clear it with the caterer.
Yay! Put the custard into the balloons.
That doesn't work. Then they're just gonna right on the floor. They're not gonna get it.
Yeah, no, that's when you bounce.
I think I missed something.
Our friend works at a funeral home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Matchy, who keeps changing his name every 5 minutes.
I'm around 15. What?
But yeah,
Don't
that's
it.
Matchy. He just changes his name.
Oh man.
So, but I think that dart, although
someone else who does
that dart, although as good as it is for the ship, I think they need more. Realistically, they would need more, but I know it's a small ship, right? But they do need more.
Are you talking about the fighter?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my reaction. Why only one?
My consideration is maybe they're field testing it. Because they were doing a lot of tests on it.
It's not field tested because if you remember, like when they were flying through the only thing, the base for intents and purposes are the shipyards.
Yeah,
there was loads of them around. There were shuttles all over the place.
The shuttles I saw, I didn't remember seeing a lot of that particular.
There was 3 of them flying together in the background.
3 other ones? Maybe they just started putting them out. They may only have so many.
Hey, Bird, good to see you, man.
Kapla, Birdo.
Hey, Kapla.
I mean, consider this: they may be tested, but they may not have made that many yet.
Okay, you as an ex-soldier, Farv, right? Realistically, like how long, because they seem to have only developed them within a year, because they're brand new. How long until every ship would get them?
Let's just say in general, if we're using modern day, loosely, let's say you had field tested these things, they pass muster, they decide they're going to use them. Depending on command, you could get 1 or 2 of these assigned to X amount of ships to see how they do in actual combat, in actual situations, before you start mass producing them just due to expense alone.
Bird, I don't think that was a really live fire test. I think that was just a calibration of the weapons.
Although they were blowing shit up, so it might have been at least obviously live ammunition.
Then, for all intents and purposes, like for what Farv is saying, they're still in the prototype stage.
Well, they're out of prototype, but they're not in mass production yet.
Yeah, they might have literally been, hey, guys, we've got like this many. You can have 1 each. Go and see what they do. Like, just say in Star Trek, like what they do, they build like 2 from like beta cannon, right? They build 2 warp engines, 1 slipstream, just say, and 1 something else. And they put them on 2 of the same class and off they go for a year.
My take is when they approve these things, when they made it out of prototype and they approved them for production, they only made X amount within a certain budget and assigned them one per ship, basically, to make sure they were going to be effective before they started making just crap loads of the things.
No, Bert, they weren't hologram. They were actual
They were drones.
Yeah, you saw them being released from the ship. They released 3 of them out of the ship. They look to be multi-purpose, to be honest.
Well, they looked like the same drones they were using to lift the plates off the ship when they were doing the maintenance.
Yeah, I was saying to a friend of mine that I think that was a bit of a job at Discovery with their worker bees.
Let's talk about that.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't know about any of you, but I quite enjoyed that sequence. I thought it was really good.
Oh, that sequence was like, yeah, I mean, that sequence was fast paced and everything like that.
Yeah, it was kind of a nice little short break from what was going on.
Yeah.
It was.
I mean, the Orvilles, that if they do get more, that they're going to have to make a choice: shuttles or darts. Because look at the size of and I'll go back.
Their bay is pretty small.
Like look at the size of that, and the shuttle is in the corner, which we haven't seen the inside of it yet.
But then again, like where they landed that thing, I'm almost positive that's not where they're going to store it. Because when he landed kind of behind, off to the side of the shuttle. There was more room, but he didn't fly it all the way in. It's like he just landed it there.
Like there's the back part of it. There's only one docking bay. And there's one of the worker bees, like the target drones right there, just flying around. I don't know what they're actually used for, but they were flying around.
Yeah, I just see a few used for repairs and retrofitting from the space dock.
Might be maintenance drones.
I don't think they're part of the ship. I think they're part of the space dock.
Yeah, I think they might have honestly been part of the retrofit. It's like multi-purpose drones.
Well, because I don't assume, now they might, but I don't assume that all those drones they had buzzing around the Orville belonged to the ship, since they were doing retrofits.
I'm just talking about the 3 that we saw coming out of the ship.
Yeah. I just maybe they're just larger worker drones.
Yeah, I think that I agree with Phil that they're like they're multi-purpose working drones, because if that is a shipyard, you don't want to have like man everywhere. So working on absolutely everything, and the shipyard itself does need to be repaired. So that could even be repairing the shipyard, or anything. God, I love the Orville. I miss talking stuff like this. Remember when we used to talk stuff like this about Star Trek?
I do, actually, unfortunately.
Well, this may be a good time to repeat what I said on Discord. I said, watching the episode again, and I did that this evening, I came to a realization that if people behind this show had done Star Trek in 2017, instead of what we got with Discovery, we may not have had the Orville. And I don't know which situation would be better. We love the Orville, but if those people had done Star Trek, we would have loved Star Trek and never got the Orville.
The problem is,
it's kind of an odd question.
Well, wasn't it that Seth MacFarlane originally wanted Star Trek in the first place?
He did.
Yes, he did.
And the reason, so basically, he's doing the Orville.
And the reason he didn't get it is because Moonves said no.
Yeah, that's when Moonves was still in charge. And
here's my take on it.
Okay.
To what you said. Honestly, if Star Trek Discovery wasn't a complete fucking trash fire, the Orville would not have been nearly as successful as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also probably
Star
true.
Trek. We saw the Orville when we watched the Orville. We saw it not only as good Star Trek, but as a good Star Trek alternative to Kurtzman Trek. And over the last 5 years, that's proven to be absolutely true. So I think
we wouldn't have gotten Kurtzman Trek.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going with.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So if we didn't get Kurtzman Trek, if the guys who made the Orville had just made Star Trek instead of Bad Reboot and Suckered Hideout and all those fruits, there would be no need for the Orville.
I agree.
True. I mean, the Orville was, for what it is, it was kind of reactionary.
Yeah, like
maybe that one, and that might not be what it set out to be. It may not have meant to be, an answer to Kurtzman Trek, but that's what it became.
Yeah, it did.
That's what it became. It was definitely, it started out as a love letter to Star Trek.
Yes.
With Seth MacFarlane's usual brand of comedy laid into there, like Galaxy Quest meets Star Trek, obviously. And yeah, that's all well and good, but what it became was, a proper Star Trek series in response to
very quickly.
A fucking
very.
And that obviously has way more to do with the fans than it does with the actual showrunners and the show itself.
Absolutely.
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, yes.
MacFarlane is a huge Trek fan.
Speaking strictly season 1. Season 2, yeah, there was definitely there were some jabs at Discovery, our shit's better than yours.
Okay, but hold on. Before you get into that, you don't necessarily have to have that for it to be apparent what was intended. Because even in season 1, discounting that show that I don't want to talk about, there was so much Trek kind of built into the DNA of this show, even in the first season. You could see it in some of the sets. You could see it in the ships, and just in some of the dialogue and some of the character development. It was there, even when they weren't kind of poking it, CBS.
Yeah, and that comes from Seth being a lifelong Trek fan who wanted his Star Trek.
And in that regard, that's why I say it still had plenty to do with the production itself too.
Yes,
very much so.
Although that's more of a reaction to let me just continue. That's more a reaction to because I'm convinced that a lot of what the Orville became stemmed from the real Star Trek show that MacFarlane wanted to pitch to CBS to make when Moonves turned him down. I think
why wouldn't he have his own ideas?
Yeah, he took that, tweaked it, and made the Orville. So yeah, it was kind of a reaction to, Moonves turning him down, but it wasn't a reaction to Kurtzman Trek, at least not in the beginning.
No, well, because that was as bad as it was from the beginning. That was still technically kind of in its infancy at that point.
They
came out about the same time.
Yeah.
And very quickly, Star Trek Discovery started changing shit times and everything like that to fit in with the Orville. It tried to get people
and failed miserably.
Mm-hmm. Oh God!
Every bit of that fell flat because they don't know what they're doing.
Phil noticed, because I remember Phil bringing this up, and the Orville did a scene where they had the the elevator music, right?
Yes.
And then in Discovery Season 2, they had the exact same scene, but worse.
Mm-hmm.
They had an ugly alien snot on people, while in that one they had an ugly... Yeah. While in Orville they had
the blue alien.
Yeah, they had Dan, who everyone, all the Orville fans love Dan. I want to see Dan again. I miss Dan. Hi, I'm Dan. When he was in the porn simulator, that scene cracked me up. They were fixing it up. I was like, let us please you. Hi, I'm Dan. It's like, man, come on.
Who the hell's Dan?
The blue alien from season 1.
No,
he wasn't blue.
Oh no, that wasn't him.
No,
Shit.
no.
What was that guy's name?
That was Derulio.
Thank you.
Derulio.
Yeah.
No, Dan is the big-headed alien.
There we go.
The ugly big-headed
the big
alien.
like kind of reptilian-looking motherfucker.
Oh God, he was annoying. God.
I know, I loved him.
Dan?
Yeah, Dan.
I thought Dan was hilarious.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of like that weird friend that everyone has.
Is that you, Revan?
Oh, come on! You didn't have to point it out. Because
yes, I did.
Think that I had more friends. Oh, but like, what would she give? Because we're at the hour point. So, Dalek, what would you give this episode?
Well, you should know. I was because
for the sake of the viewers, man.
Yeah.
I would as I said, if in my own stream, which I did on this very thing last night, I would give this episode a very high, a very high 7, almost 8 out of 10.
Okay, Phil.
Having only watched it twice and not seen the rest of the season, so far it's looking at a 9 out of 10 with a possibility of a 10.
Awesome. Wow. Brady Specs. I'll try and say that without fucking up again. Brainy Specs.
I thought it was a solid 8. The effects were amazing. It felt like proper Star Trek, which we've not had for 17 years. It was a good
Orville
story.
Season 2 ended.
No,
you're
right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But like proper Trek, this presented something heavy, and it gave points to both sides and left the viewer to figure out how they feel about it. They didn't pound it into you that you have to believe this way.
Yeah.
No. Even the crew themselves didn't believe everything all the way. Like, Kelly was like, look, he did good. Like, he changed, but like Ed himself was like, I'm going to admit this to you. I don't know, did I do the wrong thing? Is he going to turn on us?
Well, then there was that scene between Charlie, remember, next to the jet, where he admitted that like he felt the same way, but he hadn't said anything to anybody.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you just get on with it, you just move on. Like that is the way of it. I mean, like there's people who we all hate, right? Most of them I have on my panel, but not naming names. Favre.
Wow.
No, but for real, like there's things like there is professionalism and things like that. Like if people I don't like showed up in the chat right now, I wouldn't go fuck you or ban them or anything like that. I wouldn't like if I went on to like Conti's channel with Professor Brainy Specs and someone I didn't like showed up, or I went on to Dalek's channel and someone I didn't like showed up. You wouldn't turn around and go, oh, screw you, fuck this, or blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't do that. You'd sit there and you'd interact with him, you'd talk to him, you'd bounce back and forth and everything like that. And then you just turn around and 1 sec now. Phil, thank you for that. You just turn around and you're like, okay, I'm going to get on with it. Like, Brainy Specs, you work without saying what your actual job is, you work with the public. And Phil, so do you, right? There's people that ye hate who you just turn around and go, have a nice day. And then when they walk off, you're like, dick.
More or less, I mean...
Yeah.
You can't work
that
with
all the
people.
Exactly.
In a lot of you can't work with people in a lot of fields and have that. And honestly, it's a thing in from experience. It's a thing in the military, almost more so, because especially if you're doing something important, you can't fuck around with personal grievances when everybody's shit is on the line.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and when I used to work in the church it was an active builder's yard basically. There was holes being dug everywhere. If you did not look where you were going or know where you were going, and we all had to, like, if we didn't like each other, we didn't care. We had to say, you can't walk here today. Or if I found a broken grave, I'd have to say, there's a broken grave over there. Like, and they'd go over and they'd be like, okay, put a tarp over it. Because if everyone's not working in an orderly fashion, like even on this panel, like if you don't agree with everything, or just say for talk's sake, Dalek, you're new here, with everyone. Just say for talk's sake, I didn't like Dalek. Just say, right? And you could make it obvious. It could be like, oh well, yeah, Dalek could be like, haha, I'm like, shut up, Dalek, or something like that, right? But then that'd make Dalek uncomfortable. Then that'd make the people watching me and Dalek subscribers they'd be like, oh, this Potato Revan dude's a weirdo and everything like that. But with the Orville and everything, half the crew, I think this season, a lot of it is going to be about rebuilding what Isaac lost, like trust. Again.
There could be a fair bit of that.
Possibly,
yeah.
Absolutely. And I do think that Isaac is going to get a redemption arc, even though I don't think he needs one. But I think in the eyes of the crew, he is going to get one. Maybe even get Burke herself will end up trusting him, because
I don't know if they'll ever get to the point of trust, but they may get to the point of tolerance.
Speaking about tolerance, Bortus, if you remember from season 2, Bortus kind of didn't like Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that, Phil?
Vaguely. They didn't really
remember the planet
to begin with.
Where the planet was exploding. They were talking about saving people, about to save the children, and he's like, oh, save the professor, save the intellectuals, and Isaac said, it was kind of a shit way, and Bortus just looked at him and he said, I'm glad I'm not like you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And then with the Kaelin thing, not long after, because he would have remembered that, and he was still going through all the stuff with the transgender storyline, which is an amazingly handled storyline, I must say.
I have to agree with that. That could
especially coming from people who are
that could have gone so much worse.
It could.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It absolutely could. And as everyone agrees, fuck you, Clyde.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fuck you, Clyde. But so we're going to wrap this up.
If you ask me, I say fuck the Mockers in general, except Bortus.
Oh, by the way, now since you didn't ask, 8.5.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Fucking.
I was waiting for that.
Yes.
I do have a question about the new season. Since we've only seen the first episode now that it's out, we still have 10 more to go for this season. What are you guys hoping to see either more of or less of compared to the last couple seasons?
Krill Society.
I would honestly be more interested to see a little bit more of Krill Society.
Yeah,
actually.
I think we're going to get that.
Oh, yeah.
I think from the speech in the trailer about they found the statue of the great King Osmodius with writing that says, I am the great Emperor Osmodius, look at my work and weep, and around him was desert. To me, that is something you would say, given that we know that the Krill is an empire. They have nobility, they have lords.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To me, that they are saying this to either the emperor or the heir apparent. That is a threat to them. It's like, look at what your empire is becoming. Do you want it to be dirt? That is all that is left. Like the great King Osmodeus.
It's plausible.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything in particular, at least especially not after one episode, that I'd want to see less of. Because I haven't really seen anything that hit me the wrong way.
I can think of one thing.
What's that?
Not that I thought any of the episodes were bad. All of them were very good. But I would like to see a little bit less focus on the Mocklins in this season. I thought they went a little overboard in season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
One episode, if they did, but the thing is,
in the first 2 seasons, we did see a lot of the Mocklins.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Fair.
And I'm not saying they shouldn't have episodes on the Mocklins, just not as many as there were in season 2, because there was like almost every other episode was a Mocklin episode.
And there is plenty of other things that need to be focused on and given more exposition at this point.
Bringing up the Mocklins, do you think Clyden can be redeemed in the eyes of the fans?
I honestly don't have an answer for that. I'm not sure.
Let me put it this way. I can think of ways that it could happen. I can think of ways that he could like have character development to become eventually the same as Bortus in the eyes of the fans. Not the same, but like similar. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. That's fine.
The question is, will they?
I think that they will, because they've set up us hating him so much, right? Like they've gone out of the way to make the fans hate him. So one or two things is going to happen: redemption, or it's going to die.
Well, there's another option. I mean, if things keep going the way they are, they may just split.
But Mocklin splitting results in death. We've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the third option. If it leads to one of the other options is yet to be seen, you know?
I don't think they're going to change him much. He brings too much good tension to the show, I think.
Good tension.
The fact that people hate him so much is kind of a factor in what defines Bortus, since he has to deal with this.
Right.
There's something I don't get about Clyden. What the fuck does Clyden do every day?
Well, if that one episode was any indication, Clyden does jack shit all day.
No, I know that he's a civilian, but in my opinion, he should have some sort of a job to do. Right? That we say, oh, this is his job, because...
Not necessarily. I mean, there are other crew members on board that have spouses.
Yeah.
You know, they have children. There's a school on board the ship.
Here's the thing. Clyden is obviously not a member of the crew. So he's a civilian, period. And it's not like Keiko O'Brien, where she voluntarily went and taught a school. That wasn't an assigned duty. She volunteered to do that.
Wasn't she a botanist on the Enterprise?
She was a botanist, but she was still civilian contractor. She still wasn't technically crew.
But she became a school teacher later in DS9.
Yeah. So it's just like, I don't think that Clyden does dick. Because remember that episode early on when they were having a fight, all Clyden did was sit home all day and eat.
Yeah, I know that feeling. No, yeah.
Unfortunately, in real life, there are people like that.
Yeah.
Why is he even on the ship if he's except for being in a relationship with Bortus?
Because
that's the only reason.
The only reason.
Literally.
And I think that they're like, oh yeah, there's female Mocklins and everything like that. I think the Mocklins are actually what they're not telling people. Hey, Orville, there's Orville. Hello.
Hey.
Phil,
Hey,
do you want to
PJ.
ask him now?
Oh,
About the Eagle
yes.
Moss?
I asked this earlier, but you must not have been here. You were here like very
But
early
that
on
was
in the stream, and
specific.
then
They've
you
got a similar looking avatar.
No,
Professor
I heard you
Brady's
say
face.
or he was
Oh
there.
yeah.
Yeah, but Boosh, the difference is that Keiko got better.
Did she?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, not entirely,
Hey,
but
Professor Brainy Spags
yes, Dalek.
as a Doctor Who fan, I just say nice background.
Thank you.
Okay, but guys, Phil was asking the question.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Orville Nation. Revan here tells me that you have been in contact with producers and staff on the Orville in the past. I'm wondering if there's anything you could tell us about the future of the Orville on the Eagle Moss, like the Eagle Moss ships. Are there going to be more of them?
Or if he's even allowed to talk about that.
If you're even allowed to talk about that.
Yeah.
He'd probably have to kill us all.
Keiko got better in that she got less screen time.
Ouch.
That is Keiko being better.
But
I honestly think that this is going to sound weird, right? I think that they should have given Isaac a uniform.
I'm honestly not sure that might not have made things worse.
Even now, not especially now, but I mean, from day one, he was a member of the Union. Should he not be in dress? He's walking around freeballing us.
I mean, in so much that he doesn't
He's
have
a robot.
anything to show, but
oh, I'm sorry, free gearing us.
He's not even showing any gears. I don't think they have gears.
You don't know. Have you checked?
Have you, Revan?
I was just going to let it go.
But I would have said, when they were trying, everyone being sad and they were reactivating, just to be a bit more of a dick thing for her to say, I would have added in one line, right? Why are you all sad? Isaac is essentially a toaster.
Yikes. I'd say he's a little bit more defined.
No, but you get what I mean.
Okay, if she had said that, then I wouldn't have liked her.
I know that, but
I already don't like her very much. No.
Yeah, but I'm saying, given the situation, they're sad over a robot, right? In real life, if that was that, would you not be like, guys, you're essentially crying over a broken toaster?
I don't think she's quite that indelicate to her fellow crew. Her issue was expressly with Isaac.
Yeah. But I'm going to wrap this up. It's going to go Dalek and then down to Farf, okay? So, Dalek, you want to share your stuff, post your link?
Sure. Well, post the link to my channel.
Your channel.
Yeah.
He's already got mine. I don't think he's got yours.
I would if I could. Hang on. That's not. Wait, that's not right. It shouldn't be that. I thought I'd upgraded it. Never mind. Hang on a second.
I have you. Hey, Dalek got you, man. Okay, so Dalek's link is right there in the chat. Yep, there you go. Dalek, you want to show yourself? Tell a little bit what you do.
Thanks. Thanks, Revan. I do live streams every so often. I talk about pretty much all things pop culture. I usually focus on Doctor Who, or I might talk about anime because I love anime.
He is an Uwu channel.
Oh Jesus, man!
What?
I hope not.
He's being weird,
per usual.
Uwu.
Yeah, at least it's not an Ara channel, okay?
that costs money.
Yeah.
But Dalek basically does what I do. He's new, guys. Go check him out. He needs all the friends that he can. Like me, he's got no friends.
Oh, come on.
Dude, come on. I'm only messing around.
Overly harsh.
I know
Overly
you are.
harsh.
I said like me. I was included. Phil?
Okay, so yeah, my channel is Kilroy Was Here. I haven't been active in a few months because of some internet problems and just kind of lack of motivation to stream because of them. So far they seem to have been fixed, so I've been meaning to get back into it. I do a lot of gaming streams. Trying to get back into that. I got a capture card so I can start streaming games from my Switch. Once I get a monitor that I can plug the HDMI cable into.
Nice. Brady Spokes.
What?
Brady Spokes.
I think you misspoke there.
No.
He did.
Oh, Phil, I'm trying to look for your channel, but I can't.
Well, I already put them into the chat. So
yeah, he linked his stuff in there already.
Yeah, I already did that. So I co-host 2 different channels. One is called A Question of Trek. It's a quiz show about Star Trek. And that's why I have to keep up with all the bad Star Trek we're getting now.
Sorry.
For that channel.
I'm so sorry.
Well, we do a lot of pre-2017 Trek as well. So, most of our stuff is TOS, TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise.
Yeah, they do a trivia for those of you who love trivia. It's called Question of Trek.
I believe I already said that.
He did.
Yeah.
But thanks for repeating. Repetition is good. But we're on Sundays at 4:30 Eastern time.
Yeah.
The other channel I'm on is called History with R&R. It's talks about history. We pick points of history, and we have people on discussing that on Mondays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Links in the chat there. We also have various uploads during the week as well. So check us out there. If you like history, a lot of people love history. Go check us out. History with R&R. I co-host that one with Rambling Canuck.
I think a few of us have been on that before too.
Farv, you want to tell him about that?
Yeah, he has. I have.
This guy's going to be on Monday.
Is he?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
I'm going to be talking about a greatest scandal never told.
We were
about one doctor who killed 2 sitting monarchs.
Yeah, that's right. Because I was on the one where we talked about the Russian king, Tsar. Yeah, I came on for that one.
Yeah,
but
Vivian's been on.
Yeah, you want to tell about the pinned comment?
Well, let me start with, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Farvithian Guard. It's literally spelled the same way it says there. And then just guard, like garden something. It's a gaming channel. I do occasionally do discussion stuff on there when my brother and I have something we feel like is worth talking about as just sole discussion. We usually end up discussing some shit while we're doing game streams too when he's on, because we just have a tendency to drift into topics. But that's just us.
Yeah.
I do. How do I put it? I do some retro games. I do some games that are more recent. I don't do a lot of big AAA stuff, mostly because I'm super picky about a lot of that anymore. But I'll play just about anything I find interesting that I can get to actually stream properly, and OBS doesn't eat the footage. And the other thing is, and it's in a lot of my links, is I just finished the first novel in a series of, it's either going to be 2 or 3 depending on how long it takes to wrap up the story. It's a fantasy novel called the Farvithia Chronicle.
Yes. I've pinned it in the comment, but just to show people that it actually exists. Look.
Yeah, he's got the Amazon link there. I was originally planning to do a stream Monday night when I got the first physical copies of the book that I ordered, but the shipment got delayed till Wednesday, so I'm going to have to try to reschedule that for later in the week.
Yes, I would hit up Dr. Alex and like maybe Kai and things like that.
We'll see what we can do once. I'll let you know once I actually have them in hand, so that we know there's not going to be another shipping complication.
Yeah,
but that's all I got to say for now.
I would like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank Brady Specs, and I'd like to thank Dalek for coming on. And Phil has also sent me something, which is I'm going to wrap it up with. Well, first of all, Phil, you want to give out your little slogan that you like to finish streams with?
Fuck you, Kevin Smith.
Yes.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Also,